Hey everyone, it is Amber Lynn. Welcome to Paint With Me Fridays. I missed y'all last week. I am excited to be back with you. Last week I was on a little getaway with my hubby in Savannah. We laid out by the pool and chilled and ate lots of amazing food. It's always nice to just kind of get away for a little bit, but it's good to be home and back to doing normal routine things. So this is our final week with the Octopus dresser, which I'm a little torn about because it has been so fun to work on, but I always enjoy finishing up a piece too. So since it's our last week and we missed a week last week, let's just do a little recap of all of the things that we did before we jump into the things for this week real quick. So I'm going to come over here, and my video is not, there it is. Okay, now I know if I'm actually on the video or not. And I'm trying to talk louder, so if I'm screaming at you, you know why, because I'm having sound issues, and I have my volume all the way up, and I'm hoping that takes care of it, but if not, that's a problem for next week that I will work on. Okay, so when we started on this dresser, we talked about applying the decoupage paper and what mediums we used, and we all agreed that Mod Podge does not do us wrong, and that tried and true faithful, that's what we do. So we apply a coat of the Mod Podge. Up here we do just a single strip, we get our paper started, and then we gradually work down, working out the creases and all of the bubbles as we go. And then we use our little tool to just smooth it out. Once it's dry, we apply 1 or 2 more coats of the Mod Podge to just seal it before we start working on any of the other artwork. We also played around with some salt wash and some texture, and we talked about how to apply it with the spatula and to let it dry, and we talked about how my pink and purple failed, and that it's okay to have failures, that if you don't try to experiment with things, then you never know if it's going to work out. This piece, and actually this summer, honestly, has been kind of a summer of experimentation for me. There are things that I know I can do, and I feel like I do them pretty well. And so I wanted to try and expand my repertoire, I guess you could say. And so I experimented with this salt wash. I like it. Is it something I'm probably going to add all the time? No, I don't think it's my aesthetic, but I now know how it works. I know how to apply it. I know how the paint takes it. Hey girly, hey Jill, thanks for checking in. We are doing a quick recap of what we have done so far on the dresser, because this is the last week we're working on this one, and then we're going to move on to something else. So we were just talking about the salt wash and talking about how this summer I've just been experimenting with lots of different things. So I also, thank you. It means so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I like it too. Of course, I like octopi, but yeah, thank you. We talked about molds and how to make and how to apply molds. And I did all of these fun bamboo molds around it just to give this flat dresser a little more life, a little more character. And I hope through this process y'all tried a little something that was out of your comfort zone, that you played with decoupage paper if you had never done it before, because there are so many incredible designs out there that just opened up your world of furniture or mixed media or journaling or anything that you want to play with that you couldn't necessarily do unless you are like the Untamed Brush and can draw anything, but you couldn't do that without decoupage paper. I hope you tried texture. I hope you played around with that some. So either salt wash or the sand that we did on top, that you found a way to add that to one of your pieces. And that you also played around with some molds. Flowers. I have a piece that I'm working on right now that I did some cherry blossom molds on because it was missing some of its own pieces. So I hope you just took this opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Let's play around. Let's do something different. Let's add something. Okay, so those were all of the additions we did to the piece. And then that first week, we talked about blending and shading and how there are so many different ways to do it, and there may be a right way. I don't necessarily think so. I think what works for you and how you feel comfortable and what you think is beautiful, I think that's the right way for you. But we talked about color stories and color aesthetics and how to blend the paper into your piece so that it doesn't look like you just took this paper, stuck it on, and then painted in a circle around it. So if you remember, I told you one of my little tricks was to bring the paint inside to the paper and to even paint in some of these little nooks in here. And then after I do the outside blending, I come in with detail brush and I actually paint on the paper a little bit and just highlight, like with the blacks and the bright blues and the light blues, just so that the entire piece has the same look to it. That way the paper blends with the paint and the paint blends with the paper. And then we were going to skip a week. And I came on and I did a little reel and I said, okay, what do y'all think? Do we do the frame? Do we keep it in the blue? Or do we do it in the brown? And I had a poll and look what y'all voted. Y'all voted for the brown, which, thank you, because that's the way I was leaning too. I think this brown just highlights the paper even more. I think when this was all blue, you kind of lost it a little bit. But those of you that liked it all blue, it's your piece. So when you are making those decisions, and if that's what your heart and your creative mind is telling you, stick to your guns. Go with it. Don't listen to anybody else, because that's what is speaking to you. Okay, Band-Aids. Y'all see them? 1, 2, 3. One, if y'all remember, I was telling you about the knives that I bought from that sweet little boy, and he was telling me to be careful. I was, or I thought I was, and I was cutting up some zucchini and sliced my finger, touched my finger, and 2 hours later, I was still bleeding. So that's what I get for trying to cook. That is not where I am talented. So we will go back to eating out, and I will keep my pinky. This one, can't find my camera, this one and this one happened last night when I was trying to remove screws from some vintage hardware, and the screwdriver went into my finger and down to my thumb. So I will now be using a different tool to get that off. So when I say it's good thing it's Friday, yes, good thing it's Friday. Okay, today we are going to play with another medium that I love. It was something, or it is something that I just started using, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 pieces ago, and I used to see it on people's pieces and not know what it was. And I was always very curious, and I wondered, how in the world are they getting that gorgeous sheen and depth and just beautiful finish on their furniture? And so I finally found someone to ask, and my friend Judith said, it's glaze. And I found some, I got myself some, and I just started playing around with it. And if y'all have not used glaze on your pieces, you're missing out. It's not for every piece. There are certainly pieces that don't need it, don't benefit from it, like like you can see it, the mid-century boho piece that I previewed the other day. It's not a glaze piece, in my opinion. Other people may think so, but in my opinion, it's not a glaze piece. This piece, it certainly can be, if that's the direction we decide to go. I haven't completely decided yet. My coastal piece with the ocean paper on the front, it is covered in glazes, y'all. It is covered in sapphire glaze, gold glaze, pearl glaze, and that's what gives it that amazing sheen that just, to me, finished it off. So I'm going to go back up. I'm going to take you with me, and we are going to talk glazes for a second. Okay. Yep, you can see me. I can see you. Okay. Before I jump into anything, if I have spent all of this time doing my blending and my painting and making sure everything is exactly the way I want it, I don't want to jump in with an unknown and risk messing this up to where I would have to take it off or repaint it and just cause myself a lot of headache and mess. So I always have a practice board, and it's something I do. I think probably a lot of people do that. I'm guessing Jill does it. If y'all don't do it, I would recommend doing it. It's a way to test out what colors go together, what accent colors go together, if you want to do waxes, if you want to do glazes, if you like the color, how many coats you want, because colors change with the number of coats, right? You will get better coverage with 2 coats, but it's also deeper with the 3rd and 4th coat. So I highly recommend a practice board. This is just a piece of plywood, nothing fancy. I have them all over the place. It's a scrap piece of wood. So what I've done is, this is the main color of the base. It is not a blend. It is not anything fancy, so it's not the exact color, but it is the main color of the base. It's that driftwood color that we used. Okay, so then I have my graduated colors, my light, my middle, my dark of the front, the octopus piece. Okay, so this we can play with without actually messing up the dresser, which is important. Okay, so let's start with the front, because that's the one I'm really unsure if I want to mess with. I'm 99% positive I'm going to do something to the top and sides, just because it's brown and I don't feel like it has the depth I want it to have, but I'm really loving the front and I don't want to mess it up. So here are the glaze options that I have for the front, and I'm going to make you dizzy, y'all. I just think you can see it better from down here. So Okay, the glaze options for the front, and I know that's terrible to keep moving you around. There we go. I'll just move these down here too. Okay, the glaze options for the front I have are this metallic silver top coat, which I don't know. We'll see. Thank you, Elaine. How are you? I miss you. I haven't seen you for so long, it seems like. Okay, so I have this metallic silver. I don't know. Makes me nervous. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't used this one. We'll just have to see, okay? Now, I have this sapphire blue one. You can't hear me. Oh, you're in a loud restaurant. Okay. Don't tell me you can't hear me, because I've been having sound issues. So I'm actually screaming today to try and make people be able to hear me. So I hope you can hear me. Let me get my earbuds. Okay. So this sapphire pearl glaze, I love. It is stunningly beautiful, but it does change the color a little bit. So let's start with the one I haven't used, and let's just play with it, and let's see what we all think. Okay. And let's see if I can not make a mess on myself. Okay, so it is really pretty. Can you see it? It is pretty. It's pearly. Shocking. So I have my brush. I have my little zebra fan brush. You see all of these extra bristles here? Can you see them out here? Those are just going to end up in your piece. So I always take and just hit my brush multiple times on my hand. Pull out all of the loose bristles. Yeah, see, all of these loose bristles, so I don't end up with them in my piece. Okay. Smack. You're cracking me up, Elaine. Okay, so let's take this. Can you see it? Yep. Okay. Okay. Let's take some of this pearl. I don't want a lot. I just want a little. Ooh, y'all. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to do it, and then I'm going to show you. It is Bob Ross with furniture. Okay, what do you think? Can you see it? Is the light messing it up? I don't know. That's a lot. It does give it that beautiful sheen, but it's a lot. Can you see? Okay. All right. Now, let's do the blue, and let's see what y'all think of the blue. Okay, so I'm just kind of cleaning the brush off, just a little bit. It is pearly. You're right. Okay. So this one, I don't know. There's part of me that really likes it and thinks it would be pretty. But then the other part, I'm just kind of like, ooh, what if I get it on there and I don't like it? Okay, here we go. There's nothing like opening up brand new paint. Can you hear me now, Elaine? Hello, Elaine? Maybe not. Okay, so, but it's all the way up. Okay, so there's the blue. Yeah, my volume is that better? Hold on. You're going to get really close to my face for a second. Yeah, my volume is at 100. I don't even know where my speaker is. It's probably somewhere at the back. No, I'm using my computer. Okay, that's better. Okay. Maybe it's because it was sitting on my table. Okay, so that's better? Yeah? Okay. So let's do the blue now. It's all a learning process, y'all. This is, I think, my 4th live. So, I do like the blue. I do like the blue. Is not a surprise to me. I did live 3 times a week for 6 years. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is the blue and this is the pearl. What do you think? I think the pearl is too much, but I think the blue, ooh, it's pouring here. I want you to get your trunk too. Come and get it. I'm here, obviously. We'll just load it up live. People can see us struggling with it. They can get a good look. Okay, I say, let me look at them again. When the pearl dries, is it different? You know what? That's a good question. It's kind of dry now. So my answer would be no. All right. Let's let them both dry, and let's play a little bit with the brown, and we'll come back and we'll look at them. But I'm thinking blue. I think if we do anything, we do the blue, and we just do a really light one. Let me get my brush. I have another brush. Okay, so we have 3 options. 3 options. I do like the pearl. Yeah. It's thick, though. Like, I would be afraid that it would cover up all of this kind of detail up here. It's a more opaque. I don't know if you can see that. Like, if you can see how the blue is more sheer and the pearl is more opaque. Yeah. Okay, so for this brown, we have 3 options. So let's look at those and we can talk about those real quick. We have a copper bronze, which may be too much, but we can play with it too. We have a black glaze, which is fun. I've used it. And then we have something called grunge glaze, which I've used it too, and it's fun. So, since I'm using the same brush for all of it, I will start with the lightest and go to the darkest. I will put it on our little driftwood piece, and we can play with it, and we can see what it looks like. Elaine, where are you that it's pouring? So I was in my acupuncture appointment yesterday. Y'all probably think I'm really crazy now, but acupuncture is the thing. I love it. I go, they stick a few needles in me, tiny, tiny little needles, and I take a nap. Oh, you're in Canton. You're right here by me. Come and get your trunk. We'll load it up. But I take a little nap for like 30 minutes. He plays like nice, spa type music. Woo. And it just makes me a happier person. Everybody likes it when I get my acupuncture. So 2 weeks ago, I drive like a convertible truck. And 2 weeks ago, I checked the weather before I go in. It's supposed to be sunny, no problem. I come out, y'all, and it's pouring. I'm not talking about little rain. I am talking about like heavens have opened, pouring rain. So I had standing water to the top in my cup holders. So I have to go home, dry everything out. I'm driving in, yep, I am driving in sopping wet, which I used to drive a Jeep, so I'm used to that, right? But not, my Bronco's not supposed to get wet. Okay, so yesterday I'm in my acupuncture. I flip my top up, and apparently, I forget to roll my windows up. And in the middle of my acupuncture, it starts raining sideways. And so the entire inside of my car is now wet again and smelling musty and gross. Y'all, my husband is thrilled with me. Absolutely thrilled with me. So, moral of the story, when you go in for your acupuncture, put your windows and your top up. Don't be like me. Okay. Oh, yep, we've had several convertibles. I feel claustrophobic now if I'm not in one. Yeah, kids kind of ruin a lot of things, don't they? But they're awesome. Okay, this copper is pretty. Ooh, the copper is really pretty. Okay, look at the copper. Can you see it? I know the light's kind of bad. Can you see it? Yeah, it's pretty. It just gives it that nice little sheen. Kind of like it. All right, so cleaning my brush off. Clean it off on the backside. All right, let's go to the grunge. The grunge glaze. Ooh, okay, I can try the pearl over the brown and see. We can try that. Okay. Okay, so this, here's the grunge. This does not have sparkle to it, like the copper, the pearl, and the sapphire. This is just a flat glaze. So this is going to be a different look. All right, here we go. So I have just a little bit on my brush. I love this. Interesting. Okay, so here. Oh, you will have to ignore the dog hair because honestly, there's dog hair in everything, on everything I own. Okay, there is the grunge. You see how it just gives it a little depth? It's not just flat paint anymore. So copper, grunge, kind of like the grunge. It is. It's the little sparkles in life, right? I'm glad you feel that way because I'm guessing your chest probably has some sparkles in it. Okay, here's the black. Now, I make sure there aren't sparkles in the pieces that I send out. It is kind of a gray. It just made it a little richer, I feel like. Grunge, yes. Yes, exactly the way you spell it. Grunge. Okay, and here's the black, which it doesn't really look black right now, but it is black. Okay, cleaned off the brush. All right, so again, not a ton on the brush, because this is supposed to be just like a light dusting. You like the grunge the best? On the brown? So let's see what you think of black. What do you think of the black? Apparently I don't know my left and right. What do you think of that? I don't know. I'm kind of torn. So let's go back and take a look. Now these are dry. So the pearl and the sapphire are dry. Let's go back and look at these. Okay. We have sapphire over here, and we have pearl over here. I am leaning towards the sapphire. I feel like the pearl is just too heavy. I feel like the pearl is just too heavy, and it's gonna cover over the artwork. You like the pearl over the blue. Yeah. Elaine, I'm gonna disagree with you, I'm afraid. I am afraid. Oh, my yard guys are here, and now my Great Dane is going crazy upstairs. I'm sure it does look different over the camera. I'm sure it does look different, but I am liking the grunge. You are a shimmery person. You're a shimmery, which I'm kind of surprised you don't like the copper, given you're a shimmery person. Okay, so there's the copper, there's the grunge, and there's the black. Grunge is cool. Okay, so do you really like the color, or do you just like the name? Be honest, which one is it? In a gray era. No, you're not. You're in a purple era. Anyone who knows you wouldn't say you're in a gray era. Okay, so are we in agreement? No, we're not. But let's try some of this blue on the piece, shall we? Shall we try it and see what we think? Let me get some lids back on, and I'll show you how to apply. I love you, Amberlynn. I like the name and the color. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I think the name is speaking to you more, but that's okay. I love you for that. You know what? I could put some of this pearl on your chest if you wanted. You think about that. This pearl could go. Now you really can't hear me, right? Because of the blower? Okay. I think they're done. Okay, so we're going to take our blue. We're going to take our sapphire. Yes, yes, I will put that on your chest. You didn't even know that was an option, did you? Oh. Okay, when I say I'm messy, y'all, I am not lying. I am a flipping disaster when I paint. You can hear the blower? Mm-hmm. All right, where's my towel? Hold on. Okay. So we're going to start here. I'm going to put just a little bit on my brush. I'm actually going to use my readers now. Okay. And I'm just going to brush it on. It's literally just that simple. But you see, okay, can you see how it changed the top? Can you see how it's different? How it gave it just a little bit of depth? It didn't change the entire piece, but it just made it richer. Does that make sense at all? So with these glazes, that's it. A slight change. A slight change. Thank you. So, there he is. Oh, you can't see him. He's in my window. With these glazes, I can go back and I can put 2, 3, 4 coats of this glaze on until I get the level of sheen and depth that I want. On this piece, I think I'll probably just stick with one because I don't want it to be overpowering. I want it to be just when the light hits it, you to be like, oh, there's just a little shimmer here. That's all I think I want on it. Okay? So I will finish this up, and you can see it when I actually reveal the piece on my page. You don't need to get to see everything that is going to be finished, right? Okay, so we decided on the blue, and Elaine decided on the grunge because she's obsessed with that name, and she says the color, but I really think it's just the name. So let's put this up here. Enjoy your cat and dog at the groomer. Bye, love. Thank you for your input. Okay. So, oh, and I got it on my pants. Okay, so just a little on the brush. And we just add it up here. And again, it doesn't change it a lot, but it just gave it just a little something more. Oh, hey, Casey. Thank you for jumping on. How are you? So it gave it just a little something, just something to speak to me of the ocean. Just that little shimmer. Again, I will probably only do one coat on the brown, but when it dries, it may need a second coat because it is it's a flatter color than the blue is. It doesn't have as much movement in it, so it may need more glaze for the glaze to take effect, for it to show what it's actually doing. But if you can see, I'll try and pull you in. If you can see here the difference between the glaze and the non-glaze, you can see what I'm talking about. And I do think this piece definitely on the brown needed the glaze. Okay, so we chose sapphire, the sapphire pearl, and the grunge Nirvana Foo Fighter glaze for the brown. Okay, let's talk about things that when you are finishing up a dresser will set your piece apart. Seriously, again, a mess. Let's not do this anymore. Okay, my cloth is now on that, so hopefully I don't stick my finger or my tush in that again. Let's talk about some things that when you are finishing up your piece will set you apart from the person that is just slapping paint on it, quick 2 couple coats, you know, you got your Sherwin-Williams, your Behr, and then they're slapping it on Marketplace and wanting to sell it for $100. Because if you're taking the time to even watch this, or if you are following any of the amazing ladies that we all follow on Facebook, you are more interested in creating art than you are flipping and turning a quick buck. So let's quickly talk about some of those things. So I'm going to pull this drawer out here. because I haven't done anything to it yet. So I have a dresser upstairs that before I started doing this, I bought from a wonderful gentleman, and he did a fantastic job. The paint has not chipped, the stain looks even, everything looks great. But every time my husband opens up the drawer on his chest of drawers, he has to shimmy it out, and it slides. And I think to myself, never would I let one of my dressers or chests or table or whatever go out of my workshop in that condition. If your drawers don't slide smoothly, here comes the blower again. If your drawers don't slide smoothly, then you're not finished. You need to work on your rails. You need to work on your rails and your slides to make sure that you can pull them in and out, pull and push with one hand with very little effort. Think toddler needs to be able to open and close those drawers. Think if you were buying this, how would you want the drawer to operate? Okay. I was also shocked when I got my dresser that the inside of my drawer looked very much like this. There were still crayon marks in it. There were still pencil marks. I think there was lipstick still marking up some of the drawers. There was dirt in it. Your pieces are not just the outside. It speaks so much of you as a artisan and as a designer, what you do on the inside of your piece. The way you present it to your buyers really says, are you a professional or are you just trying to make a quick dollar? So this will not be leaving my workshop like this. I will be cleaning this, scrubbing this, and then I will be using some linseed oil on the inside of my drawers just to give it a sheen, just to condition the wood a little bit and make it smell good again. All of these markers, these crayon marks, I don't know if you can see them, they're here. All of those crayon marks, I will take some light sandpaper and I will get them out if they don't come out when I'm cleaning. It takes me all of 30 minutes probably to clean the entire inside. Now, if the drawers are really bad on the inside, I'll put paper down, and that takes a long time, and that's a pain, and I really hate doing that. And I've gotten to the point where sometimes I won't buy the piece if the drawers are too bad because I don't like spending that much time on them. So that's something to think about, right? Another tip is, can you see it? Yeah. Is paint with a coordinating paint all the way around, because when you open it up, you don't want to be met with a previous color of paint or the harsh wood color, unless the wood is absolutely gorgeous and it makes sense. But I always paint all the way around, and I will paint the top of this drawer to match the front of the drawer. Now, if you have a really, really tight fit, that can be difficult. So I will wax. I don't on this dresser, but some of my other dressers, it's been rough. It's been tight. There's been a lot of sanding to get things to fit. I will use clear wax on the sides and on the rails just to make everything go smooth. And sometimes it takes multiple coats. So just think about it. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm not saying that you're a bad person if you don't do it. I'm just saying it elevates your piece to that next level. Okay, let's talk hardware real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up and we're going to talk where we're going to go next. Okay, so this piece is shimmery, to me, is shimmery and oceany, and I really love it with no hardware. If I could figure out how to get these drawers to come out and open without putting hardware on it, I would, but that's not possible. So I have a huge stash of hardware over off the side, and I grabbed some poles that I thought would accentuate the piece in a nice way. So my first choice was this blush pearl, or this blush pole. So it is a light pink, which is my favorite color. I love pink. And so it's there, but it's also kind of not there. It's a nice contrasting color, so it stands out a little bit, but it also just kind of blends in, right? So that was one choice. Let me swap it out. I shouldn't have attached it super tight. Okay. So that was one choice. Okay. Then I went the complete opposite direction and thought, well, if I have to put pulls on it, maybe they should be a statement. Okay? I have some greens in the piece. Maybe they should just be green. I'm really bad with my camera today. Maybe they should just be green. And I did really like these, but ultimately they were too much for me, too dark for me. But I do love this green. It is, look at that. Ooh, that is gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So then I went back to I really love it with no hardware. So maybe, kind of came apart on me, hold on. Maybe I should do it where they disappear and I don't see them. So I have a bunch of these blue ones. And I didn't like it. It was too blue. It was almost like the blue frame around it. So that was a quick no for me. And very similar, I had these. And I didn't like that it didn't drop. So that took me back to my pink. And so ultimately, that's what I decided to go with. Now, when choosing hardware, for me, it is always just a personal taste. When I'm working with a client, like Elaine is one of my clients, I did a hope chest for her. I haven't posted it yet, but it was kind of like a memory chest for her family's trip to London. They were actually there for the Queen's funeral. They didn't plan on that, but that's when they were there. So their trip was a little weird. They didn't get to go to all of the things they wanted to go to, but she wanted this hope chest done as with a London type scene. So it's sitting over there. She's going to come and get it, or I'm going to drop it off soon. And it turned out just like she wanted. But when I'm working with a client, I provide them with multiple options that I feel like will work with the piece. Very rarely do I just send them on Amazon or Undead or any of the other places that I source my hardware, because it's very overwhelming when a person can't visualize how the hardware is going to work, how it's going to look, how it's going to operate, all of those things. So if you're working with a client, my recommendation would be to just pull 2 or 3 options and then present them that way. So we have talked about the paper, the texture, the molds, the blending, the accents, the glazes, the drawer finishes, and then the hardware. So by the end of this, you have all of the tools to create a complete dresser. So that's it. Thank you for joining me over this last month while we created a piece. If you have any questions, I am always here. I am always happy to help. You can DM me. You can comment on anything. I am more than happy to help you through anything. And if I don't have the answer, I'll be honest and I will try my best to figure it out for you. So we're done with this. We have a couple options to go to next. One, let's move. There's my chair. Okay. One is this big guy right here. He is this big, beautiful armoire. You can see the top. There it is. Yep. So he or she, I have this, can you see it? I have this wallpaper for him. It's very girly, and the thought is that we would turn it into one of those reading nooks for the little girls. So we would take this shelf off, we would turn the bench down there in the bottom into a little fur seat. We would do some, stenciling or appliques here with some flowers and roses. So this would be a big project. I'm going to be working on it. It's just whether y'all want to work with me on it or not. Okay, another project that is an option is I have these gorgeous, I don't know how to say it, Henrinden, I don't know. Someone correct me on that because I've never known how to say it. End tables. I have 2 of them that a friend gifted me, and her mother bought them at a garage sale and used them, and then she used them, and then her son had them in his bedroom while he was growing up. So they have been very well loved, and it's not on this one, but on its brother, these pieces are missing. So my thought is to do some moldings to replace these, and so we would be working with moldings. Some of this trim is missing, so we would be working with some Bondo, some wood filler, all kinds of different things. So let me know, what do you prefer? The armoire, the tables? I don't have ideas for what I want to do with these yet, but it'll be something fun. So let me know. Thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.